Alright, what's up everybody? Well, I guess welcome to the new channel, even though it's still the same channel, I just changed the name. So I just want to real quick go over why I'm doing this. Well, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably could figure it out pretty easy. Over the past few months, past 6 months probably, I've gotten strikes on my channel for virtually no reason at all. And I know some of you other guys have gotten the same thing. And I kind of wasn't really doing hardly any videos because I didn't want to get a third strike. Well, now I think I'm about past both of those other two strikes. Should be off of there or close. So, at least one of them anyway. So, I ended up getting this project, which you're going to see in a second, and some of you have already seen it. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, I probably wouldn't get any strikes at all for doing something different. So, I'm going to give this a whirl, and there might still be some shooting videos, but it's going to be a little bit. And I just want to let you guys know right now, if any of you guys want to, stop watching or don't want to watch this kind of content, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But there will be more gun videos, but it won't be for a little while. So, but anyways, I want to show you guys, which some of you saw it. I made a little intro and showed pictures of what the car was. So let me go ahead and pause you. I'll get you situated up in the tripod here, and we'll just kind of go over what all this is going to entail. It's going to be a decent sized project, but let me go ahead and flip you guys around, and we'll check it out. So hold on. All right, so here we go. This is what we got. This is a 1950 or 1949 Studebaker Champion. Now, a little backstory. And this is what they call in the hot rod scene. If you're not familiar, this is a gasser. That's what the style they call it. And the reason they call it, well, I don't know why they call it an actual gasser, but the way they set them up with the front end high like this was basically for weight transfer. When they launch off the line drag racing, because the nose is higher, it actually forces the weight back quicker, I guess, is what I've always heard about growing up and stuff. But anyway, I always really liked the style of these things. And about 8 years ago or so, right before I got divorced, about a year before, I had picked up a 54 Chrysler New Yorker that was a gasser like this, same kind of setup. And I had the motor in it, and I was pretty close to getting it on the road. I had to do a couple things like wiring and some other stuff that I don't really like doing that much, so it took me some time. But I ended up selling it before I finished it because I needed the money. So for the divorce and everything else. So I've been looking around for another one for a while, and I didn't really have the money. And I really didn't have the money to get this. In fact, I ended up trading the guy a bunch of boomsticks. So let's go over what it is. So, like I said, it's a 49 Studebaker Champion. Those of you guys familiar with the hot rod stuff, the front axle in the front there, which you can't really see it from here. It's a Speedway axle setup with the disc brakes. The rear end is actually out of a late 90s Explorer. It's a 8.8 Ford rear end. It has 410 or 411 gears, I forget. And it's got a locker in it, so supposedly. So the rest of the car is actually overall pretty clean. I got you guys in the tripod so I don't move around too much. And we'll go up closer here and get some video of that. So let me move you guys up. Take a look under the hood. As you can see, there's no motor in it. We got the frame rails there, which it doesn't even have a cross member in it right now. Actually, I have to make something for that to mount the motor to. But you can see there's no fender wells on either side. That's because a lot of the times they run fender well headers on these cars, which means the headers come off of the motor and they go all the way out into the wheel well and point like at a diagonal toward behind the front tire there. So I actually have a set of those that I'm going to be using. And one thing I noticed, I found this on Facebook Marketplace. And at first I didn't really know if I liked the paint job because the pictures, it didn't really look like it was all that great. And my son told me this, so he went with me to go pick it up. He goes, wow, he told me, he says, I didn't think the paint job was going to be that cool, like in person. But it really is pretty cool. Why they put that, it's like a rust-colored spray paint over top of it, I don't know. But if you look, I mean, these are all hand-done letters. And you're probably, if you're not familiar with the hot rod scene, you might be wondering why this is on here, the name. Yeah, it was pretty common for a lot of cars like this back in the day, in the 60s and that, to have like a nickname or a name on the side of them. So somebody was going for that theme. So, but overall, it's actually a pretty clean car. I really like that, because I've always been a hot rod car guy, you know. I really like the rusty look. But the inside of the car, there's a lot of the interiors just kind of in there. There's a lot of extra parts in there. The floor is nice and solid. A lot of the car is really nice and solid. The steering column's going to have to come out because I got to put a different one in there. That one's been cut off, along with the steering box I'm going to have to buy. And the other little parts to steer the front axle. One of the coolest things about this car in general, not only does it have all new wheels and tires, and they're like actually for this kind of car. There's the old pie crust sidewall drag slicks. They're not really slicks. They're DOT approved, but they're basically slicks. And then you got those brand new, what are they, 7-spoke wheels up front there with brand new tires. The really cool thing about this car, I think, is the rear roof line. That rear window with the back here slanted back down like this. Sorry if I'm getting this tripod off. One thing I did not know about this car until I went there to pick it up was this thing right here. How they cut that out. I don't know why they did that. That will be an easy repair, I think. As well to patch in there. So here we go. Here's the other side. Let's go ahead. I think my thing just froze up there for a sec. So there's the other side, and it's about the same as the other side. So there's not a lot to say about it right now because I haven't really done much to it at all. Me and my son pulled the hood off so we can get in there. I got to get in the engine compartment and start trying to clean that up a little bit and get ready for the motor. I'm waiting on a bunch of parts right now to get the motor and transmission put in. So real quick, let me show you also what we got for a motor, because I picked that up yesterday. Alright, so this here, and actually, I checked it after I picked it up. My brother had this motor in his barn. My brother buys and sells a lot of Impalas, 64 and earlier usually. And he had picked up a 59 Impala that was sort of half restored. And he pulled this 283 out because he wanted to put one of those 348s with the tri-power in it. So he had this motor sitting around, and he says, well, I'm not going to use it. If you want it, you can have it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to check it out, and it looked really nice, like you're seeing right now. So I came home, I pulled a couple spark plugs out, and I got one of those little cameras with the screen, you know, like you get on Amazon, and I went down in each one of the cylinders and checked to see, you know, what it was looking like inside. And this thing looks like it's never been ran since it was rebuilt. All the pistons are 30 over pistons. So look at their flat top pistons. All the cylinder walls are really clean. You can see the cross hatches in them. The pistons themselves are shiny. There's no carbon on them at all. The plugs look like they're pretty new. So if they ran it, it was just a quick test fire to make sure it was going to run. A lot of the parts on the outside look like they're pretty new too. And the only thing I don't really know about is these carburetors, these 4-jet. It's called a 4-jet, is what it says on it. I don't know much about these. I know this is where the choke control is. I think I'm not even sure if it's a vacuum choke or if it's a electric choke or what. I don't know. But that moves that choke thing right here. So, but I don't really know much about these, so I may swap it out. I don't know. I thought about maybe putting an aluminum intake on it too. But I figured I'm going to end up, more than likely, I'm sure this thing is probably fairly close to being stock. But I don't really know. But I'm thinking about maybe after I get this thing running and drive it around for a while, I may go ahead and maybe throw some different, you know, higher compression pistons in it, throw a cam in it, and maybe do a different carb setup. Do some other little things to make it have a little more power. So, that's that. And we also, while I was there, he says, oh, I found this transmission you can have too. So, let me see if I can get a good video or picture of it here. So he gave me, that's Power Glide right there. I think it's around the same year in a torque converter. So I don't know if the power glide's any good. I haven't even really looked at it much. The fluid looked okay. Fluid looks like it's pretty new. It doesn't smell burnt. So I think we're gonna be all right here. So it's a start. I don't have a drive shaft yet. There's some other stuff. I'm gonna need to find a radiator for it. But right now, my main concern right now is getting the motor and transmission installed. I'm gonna have to make cross member for the front. I gotta make a transmission cross member for the rear of it, that's not really that hard to do. I have access to a lot of fabrication stuff at work, and materials, so it shouldn't be hard to do. It's just a matter of having the time to do it, basically. So this is gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a lengthy project. It's probably gonna take me a little while to get it all together, but I figured it'd be a good different YouTube kind of videos to make, and to not get banned, or not banned, but booted off of YouTube again. Like I said, I'll probably be doing some more shooting videos here and there, but it's not going to be like all the time. It's mostly going to be this, and it's going to be, I'm going to try to keep the videos kind of short, because I don't want to make really long videos. I know you guys don't want to sit through 40-minute videos. I'm just going to, it'll be about doing all the main stuff, but it'll be showing you, okay, I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to say, go ahead and do it, and show you what I end up with when I got done, or maybe little snippets of stuff in between. So, that's about it. I just want to show you guys what I got. I know you guys saw a little bit of it before, but I figured I'd give you a more close-up look of it. One thing I really like, too, is that tack right there. Somebody painted it like that. I know there was one back in the day that was a Don Garlitz tack back in I think maybe the early 70s or something. But they're like super high price right now. The gauge is pretty cool. I mean, the dash with all the gauges. The steering wheel is kind of cool, but I'm actually going to get a newer steering wheel. I think I'm just going to go with one of those metal flake steering wheels. I had one of those on a 53 Chevy. It was pretty cool. So anyways, guys, you guys let me know what you think of this. And let me know what you think of me doing this instead, as far as videos go. I just want to kind of give you guys a quick little video of this thing. Hopefully I'll get some parts in the next few days, and we can start putting some stuff together, and of course I'll be doing videos of that. So, alright guys, like I said, thumbs up, I always say subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.